Okay, so let's continue along with some more conversation about ancestors. And the first thing that I want to say about the ancestors is that you have ancestors that are guiding you, providing you with direction. And then there are spirits that are warriors that are fighting on your behalf and who have the ability to fight on your behalf. And I have to make that clear because a lot of people talk about their ancestors and some people say, "Oh, the ancestors don't play about me." Which ancestors don't play about you? How do you know? Have you gotten in touch with them? Do you know that you have a warrior in your ancestral lineage that really would go and smote the enemy for you, right? Who has that power? Have you made that connection? And often, what I realize is that people say that without having the direct connection. And that's okay, but then I have people who want to have more power in their life. They're like, I want to be able to have the ancestor communicate with me, work on my behalf, things of that nature. And then some of these ancestors that do that, they require things. This work always requires something. So I had an ancestor reach out to me because in this realm, I am responsible for people. So there are people who have prayers they put up and petitions they put up, and then the spirit actually talks to me and not directly to them. So I had a spirit come to me on behalf of another person and tell me that they wanted something very specific from the person. In this case, it happened to be food. Spirits want different things, right? But this particular ancestor made a specific request. So I contacted the person and I told them this was the request, and I said, hey, whether you honor it, that's between you. I just give the message, right? My job is to give the message. If you're asking or calling on an ancestor to work on your behalf and the ancestor has requiremments for doing the work, then you have to honor what those requirements are. Now, that's in our lineage. I have someone else who was asking me, they just wanted guidance, direct guidance from the ancestor. And so something happened with them. And of course, the information came to me because I'm responsible for them. And so I reached out to them and I said, hey, I got this information about you. And so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z on your behalf. Now, in the further conversations, this individual said they wanted to be able to get a response from the ancestor directly. And I said, you can do that. And I told them what they need to do in order to do that. And some people are ready for that because a few years ago, I was attempting to help someone else make contact with an ancestor. And when the ancestor made contact with them, they were so scared. They were like now trying to do things to change it. They realized it was real and they was like, wait, wait, wait. I didn't want them to contact me that way. I need for them to contact me this way. Right. Which was hilarious to me. And I cracked up so hard over that. But now, when it comes to the ancestors who are providing you comfort, sometimes you just need, like your grandmother, to sing you a red robin by, or to find pennies, or to find dimes, or to, hear a song, and that brings you a little bit of comfort because you're dealing with grief, right? That's just for you. That's not action against other things. That's not moving obstacles out of your way. That's not showing you which way to go and things of that nature. So then what happens if you have a battle, right? So if I were a warrior, and at one point in this life I was, right? So let's say I was a warrior in this life and I'm going into battle, and not just spiritual battle, but physical battle, and I need the power of my warring ancestors to help me physically defeat someone. I'm definitely going to want to know who's leading that charge, right? I happen to know that, right? I happen to know what she looks like because it's so interesting that the warrior in my family is a woman, a female, a feminine energy, not a masculine energy. The healer in my family is masculine. Is That's my lineage, right? So I definitely want to call on that warrior if I'm doing battle. And for me, it is to the point of where I remember years ago we had something happen to one of my family members, and somebody had done them wrong, and they came to me, of course, and they were like, hey, this person did this to me, and I was so upset because they were done really wrong. And again, I went for my petition, and that person who did them wrong came down with the big C word. And then the person who was done wrong came back and was like, wait, 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 wait. I was like, hey, 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 hey. When you said fight battles, I'm fighting battles. Okay. So I know that there are ancestors who are capable of assisting with things. Now, they are always, my ancestors, that whole lineage is always with me, right? Um, and I would say for most of you, if you really did the work, you would discover that yours were with you as well. I have to also say, when you look at these ancestors, the ones you know of, I have people, ancestors, that I have met that I never knew. They transitioned before I was ever born. However, well, actually, one of them transitioned, but I was like 3 years old and I had never seen them. And I saw them and I described the person to my mother, and she was like, oh my God, this is so and so. And then I found out how they were connected to me, why they were connected to me, right? So I want to make sure you understand that you can have a soul tie, a soul bond with an ancestor, right? And I have that with that person. It was a forced connection, but the person was benevolent towards me, right? So it's things like that can happen, and it's like there's that person was not related to my family at all, but they're now in my ancestral lineage. So anyway, again, this is based on what the information I'm giving you is based on my lineage. I know that different people have different things within their lineage, right? When I talk about the spirit realm, that's based on what I definitely know about the different levels in the spirit realm. I've been there, so I definitely know that. So I just give you this information because I encourage you to go on a journey of discovery for yourself. If you have people in your family, ask them and say, hey, what was so and so like? If especially if they tell you that our ancestors were warriors, our ancestors were doctors, our ancestors were healers, our ancestors were. Find out information about who they were. Now, from my DNA, I went and found out information about some of my DNA ancestral lineage because there's things about myself that I wanted to understand. And it's remarkable that for one of my great grandmother, I was born on her birthday. I have her name. We have the same number of marriages, um, the business component and everything of her. Um, and she was a root worker. So again, there's things. Another one of my great great grandmothers, when I did the work, was financially stable, had different situations go on, and had autoimmune disorders. So that's doing the work also to help with understanding, to help with knowledge. It's like when you're seeking this information out, you're not just seeking it out so that you can go and be like, hey, do this for me. It's also to understand yourself better, to understand different components of your life better. All right. Hopefully this information will help somebody. Have a great day.